Is your boy Daryl, and I got my other man to my left or to my right, just depending on how you look at it, Mark. And this is Old Men and Their Crypto, another show where we talk shit and we talk our shit cleverly about this damn crypto market. Mark, what's going on with you? What's good with you, baby?
What's up, Daryl? I'm doing fantastic today, my man. Hope you are too. Yeah, man, another wild week in crypto that we're gonna get into in a bit. It's an ever changing market, right? There's really nothing been like it. So things are changing and new information develops and daily, and people are just trying to get a grasp on the different aspects of what this thing is really about, what it does, what are all these different coins about. So some stuff that we discussed in the past on this platform here, right? So yeah, we're just trying to bring it to the people kind of on a basic level, to try to get understanding, because that's what it really boils down to. I think once something is kind of the dust settles and it's established, and you kind of look back at something, it seems like a simple thing in hindsight, really, but when you start to try to build it up and do it, it's develop and things like this, it's difficult on the way. But like I said, when you look back at anything, man, the in hindsight, it's like that's just a simple concept and a simple execution plan. And I
Yeah,
think that's kind of what crypto is. When you sort of grasp it, it's kind of like that's really it. So on a basic level, that's kind of what it is. So hopefully we can continue to bring that to the people. So how about you,
absolutely.
brother? Everything's good with you?
Man, everything is good, bro. I cannot complain at all. I've learned to, hey, any day on this side of the grass, I keep saying this, Mark, is a good day, bro. Any day on this side of the grass is just a damn good day.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I can't complain, man. In this nice California weather, it's cooled down a little bit. And I am drinking more water. Hey,
That's good,
Mark,
man.
hey, I got a quick question for you, man. You ever, tell me this is not racist. Did you ever drink a water called Clearly Canadian?
Yeah, I think probably is a sort of a brand out there. I think so.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
man. Yeah,
Back in the
yeah,
day,
yeah,
hey man,
yeah.
hey. I wanted to see if you can kind of hustle me down some there from up north, man. I want to get some more of that Clearly Canadian in my life, but that shit is
Yeah.
overpriced out here, bro. For like a little 16-ounce bottle, dog. There's like probably it's like $3. Um,
Oh
but
man.
yeah, man, I say that because I am testing different waters, and I think I got one I like. I liked Fiji. I like this core. Any suggestions? Because you are my vegan guy.
Yeah, I mean Fiji's a good one too. That's kind of a known one. There's one out here in Toronto that I used to get, but I can't think of it off the top of my head right now.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think there's a few brands out there. I can't think off the top of my head, bro. But yeah, there's definitely some good ones out there.
All right.
Properly run through and as clean as it can get, hopefully. So
Yeah.
yeah, man, get your 8 glasses a day in, bro. That's all I can say.
Hey, man. I'm
So
trying to do like 20 glasses a day, man.
yeah, man.
I'm trying to have my piss clear as day, bro. But no, no, no.
Trust me.
I'm just on this new health kick now, man. I'm just trying to live a cleaner, healthier life. And I'm liking the way I'm feeling so far. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good. So let's get
That's
into
good,
this,
man.
man. Let's get into this. There is a lot to talk about in a very little amount of time. I'm not going to take up a lot of your time, Mark, and we definitely won't take up a lot of our viewers' times. Thanks for viewing. If you are new to this channel, if this is your first time visiting, make sure you like and subscribe. We get down, man. We try to get it in here. And that's exactly what we're going to do today. Old men and their crypto. Important show today. Mark, what did the markets tell us this week? What did it tell you?
Man, the big thing, I guess, is I guess, well, kind of the tail end of last week, I guess now,
Hmm.
Daryl, but sort of with China with this big crackdown on Bitcoin again, right?
Yeah.
Which we'll discuss in a bit as well. But
Hmm.
but that was the big thing. But what did it show this week? It shows that I think it's pretty much unstoppable, man, and it's kind of here to stay. I think if people have thrown everything but the kitchen sink at it, to try to knock this down
Hmm.
and fight against it or whatever they're trying to do, but it's resilient. And like I said, I think that just shows the power of it. And as it continues to grows and it continues to fight off these attacks, Daryl,
Hmm.
it just makes it stronger, like anything, right? So, like I said, I think it's here to stay, man. And yeah, a couple, when anything big hits, like what China did again,
Hmm. Hmm.
you'll always get an immediate dip, right? Because people get scared, they get FUD.
Mm-hmm.
What do they call it, right? Fear,
Fear,
uncertainty,
certainty, and
doubt.
doubt. Yep. Yes, sir.
So they dip, man. They run as fast as they can to get out of there, right? But it always settles back, and it always seems to. And I know Bitcoin regained within 2 or 3 days after that announcement as well. So, man, this week resiliency, man. I think
Mm-hmm.
that'd be my answer this week for you, brother. Yeah, it's what did it show? Show that it's resilient, man. So
Yeah, man. What I would have to say, Mark, if anything, this week did show me the resiliency because if you had any day to be scared or any week to be scared about the markets, it was this week. It was definitely this week. And we talked about it even a few months ago that we were expecting this to probably get down to 25 and 20. And this is the
yeah,
type of
yeah.
news that would tell you, yo, okay, this might get down really low right now. And we will get into it later because we do have a potential government shutdown happening with, us that's here in the United States,
Mhm.
which could be vitally crucial to and impact the market like we've never seen it before. But
Yeah.
we see that not a lot of investors have really kind of pulled out their investments from Bitcoin. If anything, it's just kind of stayed stable. You have probably what we call the public, if you will, not the sharps,
Exactly.
but the
Exactly.
public pulling their money out, right? Because they probably
Right.
got in and saw it go up all the way to 50K US dollar. And now you see it go as far down as 41K US dollar. So you pull out, right? You pull out. And that's probably what you see a lot of the more reactive people happening. So, what the market showed me this week, really, Mark, was that yes, Bitcoin is very resilient, beyond resilient. And it is indeed. I don't know. I mean, I still see that 20K mark being possible, but every week that goes by, when we get closer to end of the year, man, it's got to be some kind of push forward up first. So,
Yeah, man. You gotta think of people from the outside who are thinking about it or heard about it. When they keep saying these attacks and it fighting back and standing strong, that
mhm,
actually attracts them more to it, really, right?
mhm,
Because you're thinking, man, like I said, they throwing everything at this thing and it just keeps on ticking. So
mhm.
that attracts people as well, Daryl. So I think that's a key point too, right? It's not a reason to actually run further away. It's actually to run closer and figure out what's this all about because of that reason alone. I think so.
Right. Yeah, it's if you haven't seen that how resilient Bitcoin is, then you're not paying attention. You're absolutely not paying attention whatsoever, in my opinion, because this has been able to last. Now, we've had it. I believe the high this year was in the mid 60s, right? We got up in US
Mhm.
dollar. I know yours is different, but we have seen it go as high as the mid 60s. So just to go down to the 40s, not even get under that 40,000 mark, to me is showing the resiliency of this coin. So yeah, I would have to agree that markets are telling me that this is a very resilient property, if you will, because that's what Bitcoin is. It's a property now. Remember that, not a security. And we'll get into that later. So yeah, I do like that. First topic for us, Mark. I want you to touch on this, and that is countries and crypto. That's what we're going to talk about today. Countries that are using crypto and are using it pretty heavily. And so, my first question to you, Mark, tell the viewers which countries are using crypto the most and why.
Yeah, for sure. So the most recent one, and I guess the most popular one, if you will, there was recently El Salvador because they've actually adopted it as their currency. So it's recognized that Bitcoin is the country in El Salvador, it's their currency, along with USD as well. But I'll go through some other countries here first, and then I'll talk a bit about El Salvador as well. So um, the number one country in the world that uses cryptocurrency in general is Africa's largest
Yes,
economy, with Nigeria. Niger- Nigeria.
Nigeria.
Yeah, it's almost 1 in 3, have used or own crypto, at some point in the last 2 years, I think 3 years, more than that, but the last
hmm
2 years for sure. Now you compare that to like in America, it's only 6%.
hmm
Daryl use, you know what I mean, in that same time span. So like I said, we keep saying it's super early, and that stat kind of points to that as well. Now, why Nigeria? Well, it's really the same, and you're going to notice a kind of a trend here that I'll touch on as well. Nigeria's they have unique culture and circumstances, right, are fueling the trend, obviously, right? So, and what's one of the biggest trends and influencers of this is poverty,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's poverty, and that's suffered by like 90 million out of whatever 200 million, I believe, in Nigeria's population, right? And these crypto transactions are cheap, Daryl, right? So the Nigerians, right, people there, and some other countries that we'll talk about, right, they're more likely to make these payments and send money using their phones,
Mm-hmm.
right? So a lot of them aren't banked, not allowed to bank for whatever reason, right? So, and plus, the double-digit inflation is the rule, not the exception in Nigeria, right? So cryptos, things like Bitcoin, which are capped to sort of like a finite number of
Mm-hmm.
coins, it serves as a hedge against inflation for them, right? So, you know, uh, what are some other countries here? So, top 10 countries that use crypto. And you notice a trend here. Nigeria, we just mentioned. Number two, Vietnam.
Mm-hmm.
Number three, the Philippines, Turkey, Peru, then Switzerland, India, China, US at the bottom, 6%, Germany, Japan. So what's
Wow.
kind of a trend on those top countries there, Daryl? They're poor countries,
Mm-hmm.
poverty-stricken countries, right? They have no bank accounts, a lot of them, right? They're not allowed to open bank accounts. The women are not allowed to open bank accounts for sure in a lot of these countries still. So this is an option. Their currency has been deflated down to nothing.
Right.
They have nothing, man. They're like, so this is kind of a way out for them. So that's why, those top few countries are countries that are, really poverty stricken, and it's a way out for them and sort of to, live life a bit and do things that are a lot more efficient and provide some wealth to them in an otherwise situation where they usually don't have, So, yeah, man, that's kind of some big countries. And like I said, El Salvador and Paraguay and some other countries are looking to sort of do the same, Daryl.
Yeah.
I adopt it as the national currency and things like that. So
You
yeah,
do
man.
you do you think political corruption has something to do with that also?
Always, doesn't it? And everything, right? I
Right.
mean, they if they want it so bad for everybody to be, well off, not well off, but like can support and not have poverty and stuff, like things like this can get them on the right path, I think, right? And um, who are the one? Then why are they pushing back against it so hard, right? So
Mm-hmm.
instead of kind of working with the people and figure out how it can work, they're trying so hard to push against it, which some reasons we talked about just now, and out
Mm-hmm.
of all the other shows we've kind of talked about, this is just a positive thing, and it gives people a different way to like store wealth and not get crushed by deflation. Like, why is that a bad thing? I mean, that's what
Right.
everybody should want, and everybody should work towards doing that for the people, I think, right? So, absolutely, man, and yeah, it's tough, and hopefully this allows people to have a bit of a life at least. You know what I mean?
I would have to agree 130 million% with what you said there. First, I
Yeah,
do
man.
believe these impoverished countries now have a choice to be somewhat on the same playing field, if you will, because they have a currency that they can invest in and use, and it be at least some type of value, right? You don't have to worry
Exactly.
about inflation. And in a lot of these impoverished countries, there's hyperinflation, And secondly, I do believe that political corruption plays a huge role because they pretty much suck dry suck dry the currency out of these working folks. You hear so many stories about these immigrants who have come over to America and they're able to work these gig economy jobs, if you will. At one time, it was just being a taxi driver. And they're able to make a certain amount of money, a substantial amount of money, to where they could send that back home because their currency is absolutely no value whatsoever. So
Exactly.
I do
Exactly.
believe those two things. Uh, One, poverty, and two, political corruption plays a huge role in why these countries are using Bitcoin. So I definitely would agree with that.
Yeah, and why are the biggest economies on the bottom of that list, Daryl?
Yeah. We,
They have the
we
money, they have the thing to kind of do it and really, like, you know what I mean. But it's the poverty stricken countries who don't have anything are the
mhm,
ones like looking to invest. Like, I mean, that should ring bells. I mean, just to kind of the average person, I would think. No, I mean
absolutely.
that doesn't make sense, right? So
Absolutely.
yeah, man. And
Well,
then, like I said, just El Salvador, yeah, they have it for the crypto um as their currency, and
mhm.
so yeah, man, a lot of countries are getting into it. A lot of countries are seeing the benefits it has um to the countries, So
Okay. Well,
yeah, man.
speaking of corruption, That leads me to my next question targeted to you, Mark. And that is, with all the news that we have going on right now, can
Yes.
China kill the crypto market? Do you believe, man, that with all the crap that's going on, I was actually reading something online. It seems like your boy Robert Kiyosaki is coming up a lot, right? But I'll ask you first before I make my statement on it. Do you believe, or just flat out, can China kill the crypto market?
Hell no, Daryl. They cannot. And I'll tell you why. They've banned it nine times, nine times, I believe, since 2013. Okay. And
Okay.
despite the ban, there's still 150, I think, Bitcoin nodes still running in China.
Wow.
So really, to tie it just back into what we just kind of finished talking about is the reason China wants to crush crypto is because it hates the smell of freedom. So the story from China, right, has been kind of consistent through the years, right? The regulators worry that crypto, like all the others,
Mm-hmm.
might weaken their kind of communist control, party's control over the financial system, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they've also used this, which is totally just nonsense. They express concern about like criminal activity. You know what I mean? As if the dollar bill has never been involved with crime over the history of human mankind. Daryl, you know
Right.
what I
Right.
mean? So
Right.
it's just one of those really you know uh, insignificant, incorrect statements that people kind of tie into stuff like this. But nah, man, I don't think they can really ban it. To be honest, because they've tried so many times, and like I said, after the announcement this week, it drops a bit, of course, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But then, like I said, it dropped, I think 8-9% in the first like 48 hours. People think the sky is falling, like you touched on, Daryl, which is a great point. And then they run and get out of it, right? And
Right.
and you know what? God bless them; they can make tons of money on it too, and that's great. So right when people do that in and out, that kind of adjusts the price and causes for the up and down as well, right? So.
Right. Right.
But they've all recovered since then, man. So I don't think they can ban it. Like I said, they have like 150 nodes still going, man. So like I said, man, resiliency, like we touched on the top, right? This thing's here to stay. So
Right, right. So I was reading something today about the crypto market. It was from Kiyosaki, and it has a lot to do with really China looking to see what happens with this government shutdown, to see if this government shuts down, China could be in the process of building their own Bitcoin, their own type of token, which would put them in a unique space, right? And maybe that's why you see a lot of regulation. So, from Rich Dad Poor Dad's opinion, he believes that if we do have some type of government shutdown to where we cannot pass this infrastructure bill, this will be cataclysmic for the US. And it kind of puts China in a front seat, if you will, with their own Bitcoin like or their own token property. And this is exactly what they want. So they do kind of want to see our infrastructure fall. They don't want this bill to pass. And that's the reason why, is because they have their own token in mind that they want to push. And that's why they've been trying to regulate Bitcoin. The problem is we've just talked about it at the top of the show. It's just too resilient. You can't get rid of it. You can't do anything about it. And so, in my opinion, I could see where Robert Kiyosaki is coming from, but at the same token, I just don't see anything really being a Bitcoin killer. I don't, specifically Bitcoin itself. Now, we could talk about other altcoins, if you will, but specifically killing the crypto market, maybe hinder it in some way, shape, or form. But being a Bitcoin killer, no way. I don't see it. I
no,
just don't
I
think
don't
it's
see it.
possible. I
No,
don't think it's possible.
no. Same, brother. Yeah, no, it's like I said, it survived tons of attacks over the years, and like we just said, 9 or 10 specifically from China, Daryl. So, if for this whole crypto space, Bitcoin, crypto, for it to like go down ever, man, like the internet has to disappear or crash or
Right.
something like that. So if you believe that'll happen, then maybe it's it. I
Maybe.
I don't I personally don't think it will. So, I mean, just hold it while you can. So.
Okay. Question I have here, and I'll answer this. Have altcoins slowed down? I personally do not see that same type of push with altcoins that we did in the early summer. I remember early summer, you remember Paul Pierce got in trouble for his little IG that he, pulled up, and then he talked about really how he had made more money with this token that he actually invested in that he had ever made in ESPN, and that happened to be Ethereum Max. We talked about that. He made a ton of money, made a killing. And then after that, you just started seeing a lot of these altcoins, Mark, just kind of show up out of nowhere. You got Baby Dodge, you got, just a ton of them. I mean, I don't even know where to start, but it just seemed like every day there was some new coin that was about to launch, and it was nothing but a rug pull, nothing but a rug pull. Now, there's a couple of subreddits that I follow just to kind of look at the trend of how these coins are doing. Oh my God, you don't see anything on Emacs, right? You don't see anything on these Bezos, things like that. It seems like the altcoins are starting to dwindle down. Yes, they are still out there. They are definitely still out there. But what's about to come down the pike, in my opinion, is going to change everything. And so I have seen altcoins, in my opinion, and I'll put it like this. Maybe it's just my own view of altcoins now, right? In the beginning, Mark, I'll tell you this right now. I had a portfolio of about 20 to 25 different altcoins. Dead serious, bro. Just something that was worth close to nothing anyways. Like, okay, let me put $50 here, right? That's going to give me a million. Let me put $100 here, right? And I had this large portfolio, but I tell you, man, every single month it seemed like a coin was tanking. It seemed like there was a rug pull of some sort. And so, in my opinion, maybe it's because I've been more knowledgeable now and cognizant about how this crypto market works. But there's definitely been a slow, in my opinion. So I do believe there has been a slowdown. And the reason why is because developers know, first off, it costs a ton of money to dot your I's and cross your T's when you're creating a token, right?
Indeed. Yes,
and
sir.
Secondly, they know what the SEC is about to hand down with regulating a lot of these altcoins, because they have to be securities and they're not property, means a lot. So remember that. Remember that when you're looking for the next big altcoin. In my opinion, if you see a lot of altcoins still being created and there's just a new one that's dropping and you need to get on this now, and be very, very wary of that, because what's about to come down the pike is deadly. It's very, very deadly. Would you agree or disagree with that, Mark?
No, I agree. And I'll just give a sort of an analogy to that too. It's just like there's a million rappers. Everybody comes in. Everybody's an MC now. You know what? They just come and go though, bro. You know what I mean? And if you recognize what's, then it's just kind of a fad. You see where I'm going with this?
Yeah.
So that's kind of what it is. So you got to be careful. Yeah, I've kind of expressed my opinion on kind of altcoins here. And, if you talk to some of the real OGs in the Bitcoin space, like Max Kaiser, guys like that, he says anything but Bitcoin is a shit coin.
Wow. Yeah.
Right? For a number of reasons why that we've discussed before too, right? Not decentralized, all these other ones too. So, just quickly on the China one too. Yeah, they can create their own Daryl like people are having, but again, it's centralized. They're still controlling it as a government entity, right? Or as individuals or people. So it's still, it might be used in the country as a day-to-day currency, but as far as like value, something that Bitcoin would provide, it's not in the same league because of just those same reasons. So
absolutely, and then this will lead to my next topic, and that is basically, are people getting more smarter about the push of altcoins? I will keep it short and succinct. Yes, people are getting smarter. Bottom line, bro. Bottom line, they are getting smarter about it, and the reason why, because one of two things are happening. Whether it's one, it's just too good to be true, or two, they've lost a lot of money trying to chase these coins, right? So eventually, you want to start getting people serious about something, you just hit their pockets. And either you're going to do the research or not do it at all. So
that's right.
Yeah, to keep it short and simple, yes, man, people are getting smarter about some of the push of these altcoins. Bottom line, would you agree? Would you disagree with that?
No, I agree seriously, because like I said, it's because it's not opinions that decide whether these things come in. Like you said, it's do they work, right? And that's the thing of a free market. Anybody can bring anything to the table, Daryl, and say,
Mm-hmm.
here's my database, here's my whatever it is. The market will decide. So, the reason these things fade out is because they're not good coins. There's no
Right.
value to it. Maybe if they thought there was value to it at the beginning, and then you're going ahead and realize, nah, I'm losing money and it has no value and it's fading out. So you got to be super careful, right? Because like anything, and especially a newer space, Daryl, right? That everybody's going to come running to it because they feel they can contribute in some way, shape, or form.
Mm-hmm.
And some will, a lot won't. There's only a few survivors. Majority are casualties. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Absolutely.
And that's the thing of a free market, unfortunately, right? So yeah, man, you got to bring your A game, and unfortunately, there'll be, like I said, a lot more losers than there are winners. So
Yes,
just be
sir.
mindful. Be mindful when you're looking
Be
at those shit
mindful.
coins, bro. Yeah, man.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Next topic here. Let's take some time, just really quickly, to, in your opinion, name some reputable people. And these are people who are noteworthy, who are worth following, that work and operate in the Bitcoin and Ethereum space. I'll keep my list to one person that I follow now, and only because he's the guy that follows all the major guys and then comes back and tells you what they say. So,
Yes.
and I like him. If you haven't followed this guy's channel, his name is Nathan Sloan, Sloane, and the name of his channel is Investing Made Simple. And what he does is, first off, I believe he's really sharp at what he does. He breaks down just the brass tacks of how the crypto market works, talks to you about the definitions of staking, of everything that has to do with the crypto market. He is going to give you sound advice, in my opinion. And he's like you. He's like you, Mark. I'll even take it back. Remember, we were talking about a bunch of shit coins a few months ago. Remember, Mark, you told me and you stood firm. Hey, I don't invest in all of these coins. I hear about them, but I do not invest in them. It's going to be so funny to see what happens if you're right about how this crypto space could be regulated at a degree to where a lot of these altcoins are going to be smashed. But another guy that he follows, who I didn't even know until I looked him up a little bit. This guy was a rocket scientist at MIT. His name is Michael Saylor. And
Sailor's my guy, man.
yeah,
Yeah, man. Yeah, yeah. I like
Mike,
Sailor.
yeah,
Sharp
man.
cat.
Yeah, man, he is sharp, bro. But what I just think about a rocket scientist at MIT, I'm just like, oh, this guy's about as smart as they come. So I'll just keep my list short to as far as me personally, who person that I follow now. Now, there's a ton of people that I do listen to. Don't get it twisted, right? But a reputable guy who I really, really pay attention to is going to be this Nathan Sloan kid. And he seems young and he's from abroad. He's not even from America. And he follows all the sharps. And essentially, his channel is about these sharp minds in the crypto space. And so, Nathan Sloan put me on to Michael Saylor. And Michael Saylor is predicting that the altcoin market will crash. And so if you're not investing in anything, put it all into Bitcoin or even Ethereum, but put it into Bitcoin because Bitcoin is a property. Who's some reputable guys for you? I know your list is longer than mine, Mark, because you follow these guys heavily. Who are some reputable crypto people in your space?
Yeah, I say Michael Saylor for sure. He's and the funny thing about him, and is like a lot of people, is that he was shown Bitcoin 6 7 years ago. If you listen to
Right.
his story, and he thought it didn't have any worth, it didn't make sense, or whatever his reason was, and then it came back at the beginning of COVID, when March 2020 hit, and realized that he's losing 15% of his money for no reason now because the inflation just jumped from like 4% to like 15 or 16%. So he looked for somewhere else to store his money, Daryl, because he didn't want it to just wash away for no reason.
Mm-hmm.
So he looked at all the typical ones, like we talked about, gold, real estate. He revisited Bitcoin again, and hey, man, the rest is history. He went down the rabbit hole, and he's like one of the largest shareholders of his company, MicroStrategy, now, right? They hold
MicroStrategy,
on their
yeah.
balance sheets, right? So it's big. But yeah, just a few guys that I got into early, like Anthony Pompliano, they call him Pomp. He's a good one.
Okay.
Robert Breedlove, definitely Michael Saylor, Max Kaiser. So those are a few of the ones who have been around. The Winklevoss twins, right?
Yeah, I've
Because
heard that name, Mark.
those dudes were in that movie, the Facebook movie. What was it called? The Social
Social
Network or
network.
something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
So they were kind of like the rowers, and they kind of had a beef with Zuckerberg, I think, and uh, for because it was apparently their idea to start Facebook. Or I really don't know the story, but they sued, got a bunch of money from that, invested into Bitcoin, and they said that they're the first Bitcoin billionaires. They own like 1% of the 21 million, which is 100 million. So,
Wow.
whether they have more or not, I don't know, but that's sort of something that's kind of out there that they were the first to do that. So I would
Yeah.
say those couple cats there, man, they've been in for a while, right? So
Michael Saylor said he has 3,335,000,000 at stake in Bitcoin.
jeez.
Like,
No,
come
no,
on, bro.
no wonder he looks like he hasn't slept in like forever. Whenever we
My
see him on
God,
an
yeah,
interview,
dude.
holy
Yeah,
smokes,
he
man.
did.
So,
He did.
yeah.
Michael Saylor doesn't care. I don't think bro even
Nah.
brush his teeth, man. He just
Yeah.
get up like he just gets up. When you're that
Yeah,
wealthy,
it is.
man. When you're that wealthy, you could afford not to do a damn thing. You know what I'm saying? You could do whatever the hell
That's
you
it,
want
man.
to.
Exactly.
Yeah. So those are some notable crypto people. Michael Saylor, Nathan Sloans, who I follow. Make sure you look at these names. Tell your names again, Mark.
Yeah, Max Kaiser.
Max Kaiser.
Anthony Pompliano, Pomp on Twitter. Robert Breedlove.
Breedlove.
Robert Breedlove. Yeah, those guys are good. And then look up any there, and then you can just kind of tag from there everyone else. And those are the sharps, as you put it, which I love that analogy, Daryl. So yeah, man, there's a lot of companies like we talked about before, and athletes on it too, man. So like I said, man, this thing is not going nowhere, man.
It's
Banks
not
are
going.
involved. Some of the sharpest of sharp investors,
Yeah.
Wall Street guys from way back. I mean, listen, man, it's just get involved. Like we keep saying, man, $10 here, whatever you can, put it into some sort of crypto, Bitcoin, if you ask me specifically, and keep your money hard money, man. Keep it separate because. Like I sent you something earlier this week, Daryl. The USA is gonna run out of money on October 18th. I'm
Yeah.
like, what the hell? Run out of money? You guys just go printer, man. That's run out of money. So I thought that was funny when I saw that. So
Yeah. Man.
just protect yourself, man. Anyway, and we think, I think we both agree that crypto is a good way to sort of preserve some wealth and off grid a bit. If kind of shift your money around to anywhere you need to do, and that's kind of what it's about. So
Yes, sir. This is the last thing that we're going to touch on, man, before we close out. And this is the government shutdown and what it means to the crypto markets. One thing that we know is that, and this is the U.S. government, that Nancy Pelosi right now, as it speaks, is trying to, what the news is saying, throw a Hail Mary, really, to try to make sure that we can get this infrastructure bill passed. There is a lot of moving parts involved with this, and we really don't know what's going to happen. We don't know what's going to happen at all with this market. Michael Saylor was saying 2 days ago that Gensler, the SEC chair, is about to basically lay the smackdown on altcoins. So if you have a large portfolio of altcoins, you may want to think about what the SEC is about to do as far as regulations to stop a lot of these coins from coming out. So I've spoke a lot on Cardano, Solara. You've heard Unicorn. I mean, we've talked about Dogecoin. We've talked about Ethereum Classic. We've talked about a lot of these. There's something that you have to understand, which is very important. These are not properties. Bitcoin is a property. So there is security in Bitcoin. But in a lot of these altcoins, they can be regulated to a degree to where they can basically be non-existent. So we see possibly a trickle-down effect happening. And that is, first off, we have a potential government shutdown. And on that same hand, you got China trying to build their own infrastructure and their own token, if you will. And then you have the SEC laying down the smacketh on these altcoins just to get this under control. And so my opinion, my humble opinion, minimize your portfolio if you can do that.
Agree.
If you haven't seen previous shows, Mark has always said, yo, bro, I am not on a lot of these other altcoins. I know that they have good push. We had talked about Cardano being in that space also, but Cardano, Solara, all these can take a hit with regulation. So be smart about your investment and what you're doing, because there could be some serious regulation coming down the pike that could really mess up a lot of people's portfolio. So if you have the opportunity to possibly move that to a more secure token, they're called unicorns. A lot of these tokens that have over $1 billion in market cap. Look at these more secure tokens. Look at these more secure coins, if you will, because what's about to happen is a lot of regulation to where a lot of these developers aren't going to do what they can do with launching coins and creating some type of new crypto every other hour. It's about to come to an end. What do you think about that?
Man, I think you summed it up perfectly there. I don't even want to add anything to that because that'll kind of ruin that going of the show. But listen, I don't know if you're going to get a clear cut, definitive answer
Yeah.
when it goes to that. I think it's going to be it's not going to be yes, we're shutting this whole thing down, or no, we're not, because I think the governments and the banks and really the big players, Daryl. I think they're realizing that what it is. So again, I'm a big believer in watch what they're doing instead of listen to what they're doing.
Yeah.
Because if you listen to them, man, you're just going to think everything is just sunny and fucking everything is good. And that's not the
Right.
case. Right. So, I think they're telling everybody it's no good. But if you're going to be a government or a business or a bank, you need to accumulate and have more than what you're going to give to the people, essentially. Right. So I think while they're saying this, I think they're accumulating kind of in the back. You know what I mean? So when I say accumulating, I'm talking most specifically about Bitcoin, Daryl. So yeah, and like I said, I think Bitcoin's the winner in this space, and I think it's the one that's going to hold value. If crap hits the fan, you want to still have, as long as you have an internet connection, we keep saying, right, then you can still be active and ship money around and do that, right? So
Yeah.
if they shut the banks down, bro, and say, hey, Daryl, man, you can only take out, $50 this week or for the next 2 weeks. What are you going to say to the bank, bro?
Right.
What are you going to say to the bank, man?
Right.
We can't say nothing to so listen, man, you want to do it, be smart. If nothing happens, which I don't think that's going to happen, something will happen. You're still okay, man. You still have, we'll call it a backup, but it's not really a backup, but we'll call it a backup for the sake of the conversation. That you can still feed your family or shift money or buy something or do something, So, yeah, man, I don't think anything will crush it. I don't know the bill will do any sort of too much damage, Daryl. Not to, like I said, the big players, maybe to the altcoins, yes. And I think that's fantastic advice that you just gave out about sort of maybe reallocating. Definitely for the time being, but like I said, man, I'm not a believer. I'm not an investor in them. So I would not tell people here to kind of go do that personally. But yeah, man, just be mindful and keep your eyes open the next little bit, as you suggested, Joe.
Absolutely, man. And that is it. So just to summarize, we did talk about which countries are using crypto the most and why. That's El Salvador, that's Nigeria. That's a lot of these countries that are impoverished, may have some type of political corruption to where people don't have full access to their currency. We did talk about, can China kill the crypto market? Mark, you say, hell no. No, that ain't gonna happen, man.
Bro.
Not happening.
Man.
It is too resilient. Even though we are hearing, in other words, that the crypto space is being built, China's trying to create their own crypto, which could probably compete. Don't think that's going to happen because I just don't know if a lot of people like China. I mean, I hope that's not racist. You know what I'm saying? But I don't know, bro. China always seemed to have some kind of bad rap. And so, we know at this point right now, China is really passing us up with their own economy, right? So it is a competition. And so people are starting to place China in that same kind of category as North Korea. They got to be the enemy now, So we don't really know. We don't know what's going to happen with China and their own currency. We talked about have the altcoins slow down. In my opinion, yes, I do believe so because what's about to happen and come down the pike, as well as are people getting smarter about altcoins. I am. I don't know about you, all right, but I am. So I'm only going to use myself as an example. I do believe I'm getting smarter, and I'm not a smart guy. right? So if I'm getting smarter about it, then there's probably a ton of people who are a lot smarter than me that are definitely getting smarter about it. We've named some reputable people. Make sure you look up Investing Made Simple on YouTube. The kid's name is Nathan Sloan, young guy who really breaks down the crypto space. I know there are a lot of channels out there, but it's a lot of fluff, man. And that's the thing I hate also is a lot of these guys still try to get these views so they can get their revenue count and things like that, and may give you misinformation and disinformation on purpose, right? It's all projected. The market is volatile. We know that. So there's a lot of strategy involved, and you got to find the strategists. And so, yeah, we also talked about if anything, the potential of a government shutdown and what could happen for the market. We will see, Mark. We will definitely see. Next week's show is going to be interesting. It is going to be interesting because we will see what happens with China building their own infrastructure. We'll see what happens with the crypto market after the shutdown, if there is. Because if there is some type of shutdown, trust you me, there will be some people that are getting off the train. If this crypto drops, like they're not going to be very bullish on this at all, man. They're going to want to take their marbles and run. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so
man.
I wouldn't be surprised if you see after this week one of the largest dips that we've seen in a while, right? I wouldn't be surprised if we see that. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a lot of altcoins take a hit because of this also. Because the SEC is definitely coming down. Gensler said it. I don't know who he is, but I know that he said it. He's an SEC chair. This guy has said it multiple times, you know, in hood terms. Hey, bro, you about to get violated because enough is enough, you know? So just be ready for that. Be ready and mindful. If you're not patient, if you're not smart, look at more investments, in my opinion, that are long-term, right? You can always put money into Bitcoin because this guy said, ain't nothing safe but Bitcoin, right? So that's how it is.
Man. I'm trying to tell him, Daryl. I'm trying to tell him, man.
Yeah.
Listen, I looked this guy up too because I forget I just want to get his proper title right. So
Yeah.
He's a chair so of the SEC. So yeah, I'd say he kind of knows what's coming down.
Yeah, he knows what's coming down.
If anybody, right?
If anybody, right,
Yeah,
right. If
yeah.
anybody. So yeah, man, that is our show, Mark. I wanted to get in and out and make sure we touch on these points. I like what we did today. I like how this went.
So nice. That was good. Yeah, man. Lots going on. So like you said, next week, man, it's gonna be tons of
Yeah,
info, man.
yeah.
Stay tuned. Stay tuned.
Next week is going to be a reactive show because we're just going to see what happens. I don't think there's going to be an infrastructure shutdown. I believe it's a lot of meetings and a lot of discussions happening behind the scenes right now. So if you just want me to say, I do think that there isn't going to be any shutdown whatsoever. I hope not, but we'll see. Too much is at stake. If you haven't already, make sure you like and subscribe. You can follow Mark. Where can they follow you? I put your name right on top of your head.
Yeah, man. Follow me at Pandaman Sparks at Twitter, and that's all you can find me. That's
Yeah.
it. That's the only spot, bro.
Yeah.
That's the only spot. Unless you're that's it, man. Nowhere else.
Because
Nowhere else.
you hate technology, so you can only be found on Twitter. As far as myself, you can find me at It's Derl, ITSDERL, where we talk about crypto and sports. We know basketball is about to happen, so it's about to. Ooh, man, my palms is sweaty already, bro. I can feel it.
Model, baby. The
I can
model,
feel
baby.
it. The model.
I'm waiting for the model, baby.
The model. I haven't said much about it, man, but this is it's gonna be lovely.
Load it up, man.
All right. Thank y'all for viewing, and we hope that
Thank
you've
y'all.
gotten something out of this. Make sure that you come in with us next week where we will provide more content and more information on what's happening in the crypto space. Until next time,
Sure.
y'all be easy.
Take care.